And this is a very powerful hub. The ventromedial prefrontal cortex is powerful. It receives a lot of information. There's a lot of connections running through and out of the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. And it is down here. And it is at the bottom side of the medial prefrontal cortex. Remember, the medial frontal cortex is close to the midline, deep inside the prefrontal cortex. It's right here. And this is receiving inputs from the situation. So the state-dependent situation, the expected reward that the living organism might get, okay, the cost. So the insula is heavily weighted with this ventromedial prefrontal cortex, and then the emotional tone. The ventromedial will receive inputs from things like the amygdala and hippocampus for emotions and energy and kind of contextual memory. Okay, last time I was in this situation, this happened. All right. So value here is kind of being understood. This is value. As these little hubs are sending inputs, the ventromedial prefrontal cortex will calculate those. So insula's cost, value is in large part happening here. Remember though, it's a part of the medial prefrontal cortex. I'll just keep that open. One way to think about that, what I just said, is this area right here is the scoreboard. And the living organism will always want the reward to win. It's like the home team, because as more rewards are being gained, net benefits, the living organism is going to repeat that. It's going to prefer that. And it doesn't matter if it's healthy or unhealthy. It doesn't care. And remember, the brain does not want to work. It just wants to respond. We're going to get to why. For the autistic phenotype, value becomes extremely stable whenever that's internal. And this will support deep focus, that logical intuition. See the autism and intuition episode. Systems reliability. Remember, one way of thinking about that is, what is reliable? What is reliable for you? For me, we're all different. We have different kind of preferences in life. And one thing that this will kind of help modulate or stamp is accelerated learning, especially in rule-governed domains. The structure, CB2, insistence on sameness, okay? And this will kind of structure, when the structure is clear, this valuation becomes powerful and more consistent. And it doesn't matter if it's autism or not. But sometimes evaluation isn't quite enough. Imagine this from intense inner world and intense preference for that inner world. And know the so-called default mode network. Remember that I provided a large hub for the default mode network right there. And autism means self. So as we're mapping out these hubs, you can see why the preference is internal. And understanding that intense raw sensory information here that's going to bias us inward versus outward with all that chaos. Sensory processing, this is what this is. The biology that gives us autism here allows us to be comfortable within ourselves. That insula is a very powerful hub for what I just said.